Today's episode of the Ride Podcast is brought to you by the Click Ring. Wear the ring and show the world that you can live your line at CLICring.com. Hello, fellow riders. This is your host, Rusty James. It is Wednesday, September 30th, 2015, and this is the Ride. Hello, riders. This is one of those mornings where you're reminded that things change. If you recall, I've got a truck with a window that doesn't roll all the way up, and it is, 40 some degrees outside. At least my heater in my truck is working because it's a chilly outside. And I hop in my truck this morning to get to work, and I realize my gas gauge is way down on my friend, Mr. E. So, I've got to get to the gas station on time. And I didn't know what I was going to talk about today, but now I do. It's called preparation, people. Preparation. I should have been more prepared. I had the signs. They were right in front of me. My gas gauge was telling me, in fact, screaming at me. It didn't beep at me yet, so I'm actually in the clear. I'm going to be fine. But I don't like being down that low. And spiritually speaking, we all have little bits of ebbs and flows in our lives, don't we? When it comes to the spirit. You know what I mean. And I'm not talking about just our circumstance, just the environment that we're in. Oh, there goes my light on my E, as you can hear it. I'm not talking about the environment, the things that are outside of us. I'm talking about what's inside of us. We even have ebbs and flows within us. We'll have periods of time, and this is true. We've seen this in the Israelites, where they would be trusting in the Lord, and then they would get complacent, and they would forget their first love, and they would seek other pleasures and other idols. You know, God got them so far, but they wanted to go further in their own satisfaction. Danger, danger. If you see that in your own life, danger, danger, you're getting close to E. I wonder if these people think I'm just nuts talking to my phone like this. No, they just think I'm talking to somebody at work. Are you at work right now? You could listen to this at work, you know? Put your headphones on. So anyway, complacency. If you've been trusting in the Lord for a while, but you've kind of let your dependence on Him wane, danger, danger. The Israelites, if you remember, Moses went up on I forget what mountain. It's not Mount Ararat, I don't think, because isn't that where the ark is? Well, you look it up and you let me know. Moses went up and he got the 10 Commandments. More important than the 10 Commandments is the fact that he spent time with God. But anyway, so he comes down, and what are they doing? After God split the Red Sea, after God showed Himself, or the power of Himself, the glory of Himself, in the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night, unmistakable signs of supernatural power. And what do? They melt their earrings down and make a calf so that they can worship it. And it really is a picture of, because I think I might be right about this, that the worship that they would do involved hedonistic activity, and so they were really just leaning on their flesh. They weren't trusting in God. They were just doing things that would satisfy their natural person. And God had, if it's not clear by now, riders, God wants us to be fully dependent on Him. It's not a power trip. He doesn't have to prove that He's got the power. He's got the power. I got the power! My God fully has the power. He doesn't need to prove it to you. He just does. What needs to be proven is that you need to prove it to yourself that you don't have all the power. The only way you can really do that is by giving up power. Then you'll find out. And seriously, it seems like every time I do that in an area of my life, He really, if I'm really asking Him to show me, and I'm really serious about wanting to trust in Him more in certain areas, and talk to Him, ask Him for help in those things, He is faithful to meet you right at your need. A lot of times we think that our needs are, food and shelter and clothing, and, we consider those our needs, but we have spiritual needs too. One of our spiritual needs is that we need to be in communication with the Lord. Whether we believe it right now or not, that's a need we have. We might not think it is, but can I tell you that the more you trust on Him and the more you rely on Him to make it through your little battles, to make it through and to get over these little mountains in the life, the more you do that, the more you realize that, oh my goodness, I needed Him. And He is there for us. Complacency is a problem. Complacency gets our preparation unmet. So pretty soon I'm going to be entering a town with a gas station, Yahoo! And I'll be able to prepare this vehicle for future rides. If I didn't do that, this podcast would be really long if I have to walk my commute. And you don't want that. You really don't. Because I could probably talk for that long. And you really don't want that. So, we moved so that I could have a shorter podcast so that you could get what you need in a quicker boom. Got it. That's why I did it for you guys. I did it for you guys. So preparation. So I'm also looking out this half-opened window into it's not bitter cold yet. It's not October yet. So we're going to have a lot more warm days, I'm trusting. But it's starting to turn into fall. I mean, it is fall. And this window, she ain't closing without some servicing. What things do you have in your life that need to be prepared for the coming season? In the natural, we know winter is coming. So I know I need to prepare this ride. But in your life, there may be some things coming down the road that you don't know about. Some new seasons that you're unaware of. Non-cyclical kind of things. Are you prepared? The only way I know to be prepared is to realize that you're fully dependent on the Lord. He will provide you the strength you need. No matter what the situation is, you know he knows the next season that's coming down the pike for you. You know he knows that. Do you know what's coming down the pike? Therefore, be totally dependent on God. And you're going to be in a better shape. Make sense? I think it makes sense. So then we have to ask the question, well, what do I have to give up to be totally dependent on God? I mean, isn't there something that I have to, give up? Well, I'll tell you what, I got to fill up my gas tank, and I'll be right back. Well, I am back. Got another nugget for you. So I'm preparing my vehicle, right? I'm gassing it up. Preparing for the road ahead. And I kind of want to get it done quick because I got places to go, I got things to do. And I don't know about you, but my truck, every other gas station I go to, those silly pumps, they trip and stop way before I'm full. It's a little frustrating. And it got me thinking, when we're in preparation, there will be hiccups along the way. We can't say, hurry up, God, and prepare me. Hurry up and prepare me. Get me prepared now. Now. Sometimes God is saying, part of the preparation that you need is to add a little bit of patience and humility in your time of preparation even. Ouch! It's all right. I've mentioned this before, but during the process of trying to find our next home, we really reached a point of, I don't know what you would call it, unreliance on the Lord. How about that? To be blunt. And we finally just said, you know what, we have to pray right now about this thing. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were lying in bed, looking at the ceiling. It's just like a scene from a movie or something. And we were both very disappointed that we weren't finding what we were wanting. And man, we didn't even know what we want. We did know what we wanted. We knew what we didn't want, because that's what we were seeing. But we knew what we wanted, and we weren't finding it. And time was ticking into the future. Anyway, so time was ticking, and we didn't know what to do, and we were at the end of ourselves, really. And I will never forget, I had the sense that the Lord was speaking to us that sometimes during the waiting period, during the preparation period, there are things that the Lord does. I don't know if they would be challenges or what, but they are delays. And they're to do a couple of things, I think. One is to show the glory of God when the breakthrough happens. Because if you don't have a waiting time, then there really is not a breakthrough, right? You needed to break through. Well, we happened to break through, and the glory really of God is in the situation, I feel. So that's one thing. To have the glory of God be present. It's the same kind of thing as when the Hebrews left Egypt, finally when Pharaoh said, get the heck out of here. But there had to be a little bit of intrepidation when they got to the Red Sea and they are now being pinned in. And then they had a breakthrough and the glory of God was present. And it should be a reminder, it should have been a reminder to them that God was with them, right? Yet they still had the whole idol problem later in the desert. And we got to get that in our minds, that these little breakthroughs, you'll get little breakthroughs even during the period of preparation and waiting. You'll get little breakthroughs. You need to remember those. You need to, place altars around those very things as a reminder that God got you through the little ones even. Because He will get you through the big ones, but it might not be the right timing for that big one. He might have to do some more working through you. I just had to start my podcast up again because I realized that after I finished today, it didn't record half of it. So I'm going to try to remember what I was talking about in my vehicle. Kind of sounds nice. Just a little bit of a breeze. But God will get us through those periods of time if you put your trust in Him. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you guys to trust in the Lord, lean on His understanding when you're going through these preparation times. And I really am sorry that I don't have a nice conclusion for today, but I've got to get to work, and I have a responsibility to do that. So, stay in the Word, live in peace, and pray for those who persecute you. And allow the Lord's Spirit to guide you through these times of preparation, times that may be a little bit difficult, maybe have hiccups, but ultimately bring you to a higher level of maturity in Him and will get you firmly planted into the next plateau of your life. So you have hope for that, okay? And I will see you on the flip.